Hi, I'm Steve Myers, candidate for mayor of Baton Rouge. Today's message is entitled Downtown Development and Tigerland. This is a message that we had on our list from early in the campaign, and I'm happy to report that there's actually been progress on this issue. First, let me give you a little background. On downtown development, it has been an issue raised by several candidates and a lot of the public that does Baton Rouge spend too much on downtown. Well, again, downtown is an important area of town, obviously, and it is one of the shining lights of Baton Rouge. However, there are other areas in town. As you know, my philosophy of government is that we fund the core mission of local government first. That's infrastructure and public safety. And then we do things that would help regarding social services and economic development and other things that are on the penumbra of the core mission, but not necessarily right there in the bullseye. And of course, some of those are just cosmetic things in the downtown. Important, but again, not necessarily the core mission in my view. What is in the core mission is public safety, and one of the areas that has been neglected in recent years is the Tigerland area near LSU. Now, many old-timers will remember Tigerland as an iconic neighborhood of residences and nightclubs and businesses that our parents lived in, and even our grandparents in some cases now. It was very popular from the 70s through the 90s, but has deteriorated now into one of the city's pockets of crime and blight. Now, the popularity has also dropped among college students as more apartments and other areas of residence are being built. Everybody wants the new shiny thing. So what's happened is that widespread student residency has become a thing of the past. We can't lose sight that when people come to college, that the experience that they have has a lot to do with whether they want to stay here in the future after they finish their degree. Many of the Tigerland patrons and residents now, however, are living in fear as they watch this area become a hub for violent crime, ranging from shooting, drug incidences, assaults, robberies, and even some murders. Obviously, there are serious safety concerns out there. And the residents don't feel safe coming and going to their homes. They feel their possessions are at risk. So as new housing is built and there are challenges to keeping older areas up to date, the problem is landlords lower their rent in order to keep the stream of income going. The market doesn't command as much rent. There are maintenance issues that are left untaken care of, and you wrap this up and you see that because the people that live there are not politically or do not have political clout, you often see that services such as the garbage and the overgrowth and the clearing of debris and other things, police presence that the city might do in some cases, are simply neglected for areas where there's more political clout. And, this state of disrepair ultimately affects all of us because property values go down, which means reassessments, which means less property tax, and you have a negative spiral. So this should be a premier area of town. I mean, we're talking about a mile from LSU, walking or biking distance to LSU. LSU, along with downtown, of course, is #1 tourist area of town. You've got 100,000 people or more that come in for the football games. You've got graduations. You've got speakers from all over the world. And everything around LSU should be spick and span clean, and Tigerland is far from that. It's important to realize that perception is important, not only student perception and parent perception when they come to visit the campus, but other visitors as well. So this is not an area that really should be allowed to continue to deteriorate. Constituents always wait for their leaders to step up and do what they're supposed to do. And in this particular case, it means simply reprioritizing. Now, one thing that's great about campaigns is that they raise issues. And we're not taking credit for it, but it is quite a coincidence that the landowners who have continued to put pressure on some of the council people who represented that area, as well as the city police and DPW, have actually gotten some response in the last month. So I think raising the issues in these campaigns is extremely important, and it gives us hope because there's been some initiatives now to try to give Tigerland the support it needs in order to restore it as one of the prime pieces of real estate in Baton Rouge based on its location near LSU. One example of what I mean by prioritizing expenses is that ask yourself, how far would $850,000 go in Tigerland for lighting and cleanup and road construction and that sort of thing? And that's the amount of money that we spend on the Arts and Sciences Museum downtown. Now, we're not saying that Arts and Science Museum is a bad thing. The point is that we have to prioritize our money and decide what is more valuable to do with $1 if we only have $1 to spend. And again, it gets back to infrastructure and public safety, wherever that may be in the parish of East Baton Rouge. So that's our message for today. One thing I will tell you is, although the public officials are paying attention now before the election and have some initiatives and announce some programs for Tigerland, the problem is once the elections are over, these things are often dropped. Under Ed Meyer's administration, we will follow through and we will restore Tigerland to its rightful place as one of the prime pieces of real estate in Baton Rouge. Hope you'll come back tomorrow for another Myers message. Until then, remember, we can make Baton Rouge nice for all of the residents. We can make it happen if we make it Myers.